Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Cory Means Business podcast and YouTube show. Today we got a very special guest with us, Melissa Rudolphi, who is a local famous lash artist and lash studio owner. She also has another business where she helps aspiring and new lash artists and those that are wishing to up the level of their game to another level with a platform where she does some training called Show Up Like a Boss. So look for them on Instagram. All of her information obviously will be put in wherever you're going to find this or listen to this, so you can look at it. She's been doing it for a long time, about 8 years. She really knows what she's doing, so we're just going to jump right into it and start talking about what she has going on and what she wants to share with us today. So tell me more about what made you get into the lash business to begin with. Like, what drew you to it?
Well, I've always been in the restaurant bar industry. That's what I've done my entire life. From 18 to 35, I was bartending, serving, and managing. I loved it. I was all about the party life. I enjoyed being around people, talking to people, going out. Like, I always wanted something going on. So I really, really liked it. But, getting people drunk for a living is not a really good feeling eventually, It doesn't feel very successful.
I don't know if it felt successful for me when I was doing it. When I was on the other side, when I was getting drunk, it seemed pretty successful.
You're welcome.
I was a big time success at getting drunk in my party days.
Well, I was a part of that, so you're welcome. Going into my 30s, I could tell I didn't feel really good going to work. Like, I wasn't excited. I wasn't as friendly as I used to be. And I just felt like, what am I going to do? My whole family, my dad brought my sister and my brother and I up with really good work ethic. So everything I did well, and I worked hard. I had 2 jobs. I always worked hard. I always showed up early. And I actually didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't. I was lost. And so going into my 30s, I just started feeling, what am I going to do? So one of the servers came in and she had lash extensions on and she looked beautiful. And I said, oh my God, you look gorgeous. What is going on? It was kind of a newer thing. And she said, it's lash extensions. You should take a class and get certified. I'm an esthetician as well. So in the mix of me being a bartender, server, manager, I went to Tucson College of Beauty and got my license.
So you did that before you started lashing then?
Yeah, I had that. And I didn't, I didn't want to do nails. I didn't want to do skin. I wasn't feeling it. So I took the advice of this server and I took a course and I was horrible at it. Horrible. I did not do a good job. I cried. It was hard. I thought, this is just a fad. It's not gonna stick. And 3 months later, I was working 7 days a week. So I was working my bar job and I was working doing lash extensions. I started this business. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was like, I'm going to do this. I called my dad. I said, Dad, I'm going to start a company. It's going to be called At Lash, and I'm going to do lash extensions. And he said, what? What are you going to do? Like, you have a really good job right now. You're, making great money. And I said, I'm going to go for it. So 3 months later, I quit my job. I was making more than I ever was bartending. I made really good money bartending. I hit the ground running, not knowing what I was doing, but still making a lot of money.
So you consider yourself a naturally ambitious, naturally motivated to obviously do well?
I was, as soon as I started this, so I knew it was the right thing for me. And let's see, 4 years later, I was doing lashes, and I started to get a little bit, a little stagnant. And my sister, she's worked in the bar restaurant industry as well. And I said, hey, why don't you take this course? Let's see if you like it. If you do, maybe we can open a spot together. I never knew what it was going to create, but we have the same work ethic, and we always work together, so we work really well together. And she took a course, and 2 years later, we opened Lash Studio.
Oh, wow.
1,700 square feet, luxury lash studio, amazing. And we actually now have, there's 8 of us.
Wow. Jeez, yeah, that's
Excuse me,
heck
6
a
of us.
Six
Sorry,
of you total
yeah.
at the Lash. And where is it located exactly?
Campbell and River in the Zimberger parking lot.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and so we've done really, really well. Working with my sister is fun, and it's also trying. You know, like we know how to get along and we know how to argue, and we do a really good job though of managing the studio together, and it's incredible money. We've done incredible. I'm actually really proud of
Well,
what
that's
we've
I can
accomplished.
tell you right now. I mean, you know, and all the thousands of businesses that I've had to go in and coach and figure things out, I can tell you usually the family partnership scenario doesn't work out very well very often. So that's awesome to hear that you and your sister really have a relationship like that, because that is rare. But, you know, when it does work, it works really well. So, so obviously, so how long have you been in business? You said you've been doing it 8 years total, but have you had At Lash for 8 years? How long have you had At Lash?
At Lash started 2012, June of 2012.
Oh, wow.
And then Lash Studio was opened 2016, October of 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we've been at it. We've been there for 4 years.
Wow. Great. So I'm sure there's been some challenges you've had. There's got to be a reason why you decided, hey, I better do a course to help people out so they don't fall in the same pitfalls that I fell into. I mean, obviously, we all, you know, I think everybody kind of realizes whether you're in business or not, or it's tough. And you can be great at what you do, right? So you can be the greatest lasher that ever walked the face of the earth. You can have a great skill set when it comes to that. And you can have your certifications, and you are trained by a master, and, you know, you're just a natural artist, and, you know, you have a passion for it. So you can be really, really good at your core skill set. And I find this a lot when I coach businesses. They could be just phenomenal. The best you ever seen at what they do is a core skill set. But the business side of it, that's kind of where people get lost. And no matter how good your core skill set is, if you don't have the business side of it, that's where the rubber really hits the road. Because you can be the greatest anything, but if you don't know how to run a business, you're going to fall flat.
Yeah.
So tell me just a little bit, you know, what major pitfalls did you have early on, and what did you figure out, and what kind of changed things, or, you know, what helped you to overcome some of those earlier challenges?
So being a bartender and a server, you've been in customer service your whole life. So I know how to give a good quality customer service. But when you go into the beauty industry, it's a whole different game. It's all women. So it's very, very different.
Not a lot of guys getting lashes.
Not a lot. I've actually never done one. My sister has, actually. So I've been in customer service my entire life, but working with women was definitely, it was hard to get used to, just women. So there's so many different personalities, and you have to kind of attend to like each one. So customer experience was everything. But I'll tell you, when I went in, I wasn't prepared. I didn't have an accountant ready.
Right.
I didn't have separate bank accounts. I just was kind of spending my money here and there. I didn't pay myself. So that's where I screwed up big time. So my advice to anybody starting out new is you have to have all that in order. And just jumping in, not knowing how to run a business, like that is everything right there. I got way behind on taxes. I spent a lot of time making up. I wasted a lot of time not knowing what I was doing. So I wasted a lot of years. I wonder where I'd be now if I was smart enough to get with someone in the beginning to learn about how to run a business.
Right.
And so the customer service too, it's, you know, you have so many personalities and you deal with so many people, and I think the way some people are brought up, they're just not brought up, you know, we're all brought up in different ways. And maybe they're not used to dealing with people, or they never worked in a career where they've had to deal with people and give customer service. So they want to open these businesses and make a lot of money, but they have no idea how to deal with people, how to talk to people, how to communicate. You know, what is a customer service? All the details, all the things, the checklist that you have to check off in order to give that experience to people. that's what I started to develop as I was going through. And I made all the mistakes. You know, they say the customer's always right, and I think that's kind of changed a little bit, honestly. I don't agree with that, you know. But I think if the customer isn't right, you have to really figure out a way to deal with those customers.
You're right. The customer isn't always right, right? We heard the old adage, the customer's always right. The answer is no. The customer's wrong a hell of a lot of times. But the customer's always the boss. That's what you got to kind of realize. Like, yes, no, the customer could be dead wrong. Customer could be completely out of line, but the customer is still the boss. Why are they the boss? Because you're providing them with a good or a service, and they're paying you for it. So ultimately, at the end of the day, they don't have to pay you. They can go somewhere else. So they're not trapped to use you. So they're the boss. But does that mean you just got to take all kinds of crap from your boss? No. You just have to know how to handle it and know how to deal with it. So when you do have a tough customer, you don't lose your cool. You don't do something stupid, right? Because we were talking about it a little bit before we got on the show. We were talking about online reputation and how important that is with Yelp and Google reviews and all that, and how easy it is for someone to go out there and just say whatever they want on your Yelp or on your Google review, and it doesn't even have to be accurate or fair, right? Anybody can just do whatever they want. So yeah, you absolutely have to pay attention to your customer relations. It's a huge thing from a lot of different aspects. I mean, too much probably to get into on this show completely, but you have customer relationship to where the customer's happy in the moment and therefore pays and is satisfied, but also is happy enough that they're going to return and come back to you again for repeat business. And then when there is a problem, when there is something that doesn't go well, how that's managed will dictate both A and B, but also C, which is, are they going to go out there and badmouth me? Not only online, but to the community, especially if a local run business that relies on, I know you and a lot of local businesses rely on word of mouth. Well, it can be bad word of mouth too. So customer skills and how to handle customers and customer relations is a huge part of any business. And I'm sure with the type of clientele that you would have, probably is even on high, on high alert, if you will.
And you can do everything right. You can do every single thing right. But the moment you fall on one thing, like, people are ready to pounce on you.
Sure.
So they're not looking, I mean, they are looking at all the things you're doing right and what you're offering, but people are somehow always searching for that negative. So that's why it's important to get yourself a list of, communication 1 before you meet your client, when you meet your client, communication 2, and communication 3 after you meet your client. And if you're checking off all those boxes each time, that's the best you can do. You're not always going to make everybody happy, but do your absolute best by understanding what that is. And that's what Show Up Like a Boss is about. It's about understanding the importance of each detail and learning how to do it and being confident in communicating with your clients and being confident on what you offer. But, without the talent of being a really good lash artist, you're only going to keep your clients for so long. So you also have to take care of that as well. So there's a lot of details in this business.
Now, you're not going to make up for bad service with good customer service.
That's
if
right.
your core service or your core product sucks, well, then I don't care how good a customer service you are, you're still going to end up losing a lot more customers. So obviously, it goes without saying that being excellent at your core skill set is an absolute must. I mean, because that's the foundation everything else can be built on. If you're not good at your core skill, well, then I don't care. You could be a great business person and all these other things, but it's going to be just as damaging. Point being is that you really have to have the whole package. You have to have the core skill set. So in your industry, you got to be an amazing lasher. People got to be ready to hop on social media and show everybody their lashes, how great they are. And then you also got to be able to be good at customer service and good at accounting and good at business. Not that you have to be an accountant yourself, but you have to know the basics so that you don't make mistakes like you made early on with, it's called commingling, the commingling of your business and personal accounts and, using the same card for every, whether it's a business purchase or a personal one. Yeah, definitely creates a mess. So, understanding accounting basics and things like that obviously is huge in creating that good foundation. I know the setup, I wanted to circle back on that because you'd mentioned it. When you go to start a business or even, if you're going to be a solopreneur or if you're going to hire people like you have or branch out and, do a studio setting where you have other lashers come in and, you know, share space and resources. You need to be able to have your solopreneur game really on before you ever start branching out. So the setup is huge, especially when it comes to just the business setup, understanding initially you have to have separate accounts. You want to get a good accountant. You're going to want to understand how much money it's going to take, how much money you have to have saved up in order to have the business get all the essentials it needs. If there is a hiccup, you don't want to be in and out of business in a month or two, so you got to have some cash reserves, right? So the setup is huge. Customer service is huge, right? Online, anything else that you could think of? What does your program, so when you go to teach these new lash artists how to not make these same mistakes that you, or at least how to not have to take the long road to learn, what other things besides those do you include in your program?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about actually outsourcing. And I think, you know, there are a lot of people that want to be business owners and they want to, you know, be their own boss and have their own freedom. And I think there's a lot of insecurities going into business and people not understanding certain things. And they think they have to understand or know every single thing about business. And what I mean by that is, I'm not good at taxes. I'm not good at it. And I don't want to be, and I don't want anything to do with it. I have way too many other details to worry about. And so hiring a really good accountant and getting somebody on your side, a good friend, a husband, a dad, someone who knows what they're doing to help you out, make sure that you pick the right accountant. I want to make sure that people are not afraid to ask for help. In order to run a business, you don't have to know every single thing. You have to know a little bit about it and be able to talk about it and understand it. But if you're not good at taxes, then you're not good at taxes. Don't stress about it. Hire somebody to do it. You know, if you're not good at marketing yourself, hire somebody to do it. Don't be afraid. Focus on the things that you're really strong at. Focus on your customer experience. Focus on your pictures. Whatever it is you're doing that you feel the most passionate about, that's where you're going to shine. And I think people get really stressed out with the backside of it. And it's obviously very hard. So if you hire people to help you do that stuff, you take a lot of pressure off of yourself.
Sure.
And it's a lot easier to run a business. As long as you're having people that you trust, make sure that you have people that you trust, you know, to help you out with all that stuff, money and everything. Don't feel embarrassed because you don't know it. You know, I think a lot of people, it stops them from being successful or living their dreams because they're insecure about what they don't know. So I wanted to touch on that because I think it's definitely stopped me.
Sure.
I guarantee you I wouldn't have been a bartender and server until I was 35 if I wasn't insecure about some things that I didn't know and I didn't realize. Just ask for help. You know,
One of the things, it's funny that you mentioned that in most business owners that I talk to, unfortunately, don't get that, don't have that good of insight that you have. I dedicated one of my chapters in my newest book, Maximize Your Now, is dedicated solely to you have to be okay not knowing what you don't know, meaning that you're not stupid, you're not ignorant because you don't know things, okay? You're only stupid and ignorant when you refuse to accept the fact that you don't know those things and then refuse to go seek the information. And in my book, you know, I write that we live in such a time, and I'm old, so I predate the internet. My business predates the internet. I mean, you know, being in business and working predates the internet for me. Well, not the internet itself, but the modern internet. I'm not that damn old. But the modern internet, right, where you could just go to Google and know anything in the world, right? All of human knowledge is right here on our phones, right? There's nothing that human knowledge has garnered, like the whole Library of Congress is right here in the palm of my hand.
right.
But it seems that people refuse to use it. You know, and again, it's not that they don't know how, it's exactly what you hit on, which is they don't want to feel stupid. They don't want to feel like if I have to go look for this, or if I have to ask somebody, or if I look it up and heaven forbid I look it up and it's a little too technical or it's a little too complicated and I can't figure that out and I have to go ask a real person and then I'll look stupid. Yeah. No, the answer is no. We all don't know everything. You can't. And so when it comes to, business things like this, don't try to know it all. Don't even think that's a requirement to be a good business person. It isn't. Knowing that you don't know it all is the requirement to being a good business person, because that way when you come into a challenge or when you come into something that you're struggling with, you instantly go, oh yeah, I know where to get this information. I'll go to Google first. I'll Google it. I'll look and see what's there. And if, I don't get good answers, or if it doesn't make sense to me, then I can go through a person or a resource and, that's more of an expert on it and get clarification. With regards to the legal and the accounting, I tell everybody that starts in a business, and even if you don't start in a business, even if you're just a high income earner, if you just have a good job and you make a good living, you need an accountant, a CPA, really, beyond an accountant, you need a CPA. Yeah. If you make over 70 grand a year, 70 grand to me is kind of the cutoff. If you make over 70 grand a year, you need a CPA. Yes, you're going to spend the $1,000 or whatever it is they're going to charge you to do your taxes, but it's going to save you so much money, so many more deductibles and deductions and strategies that you would never know, a regular accountant would never know. So go with CPA. Second, a lawyer. You got to have a lawyer. Okay, it doesn't mean you got to pay them $1,000 a month retainer or anything, but you have to have a lawyer, and usually multiple. You'd want to have a lawyer for anything criminal, and you'd want to have a lawyer, for anything business-wise, tort-wise. You want to have both those lawyers. When I say have them, I, again, don't mean necessarily on retainer, but you have to have met with them, paid them $300, spent an hour, asked the questions, set things up properly to where you checked your boxes legally, and then you also, again, make sure that nothing you're doing could get you in any kind of a criminal scenario or any kind of a regulatory problem. Those are the things that you need to do, even if you're just a high income earner, not even a business owner. Now, as a business owner, it goes without saying you have to have those things, and probably to a higher level. And then those resources are there whenever you need them. So if I come across something legally that I don't understand or don't know, I got my lawyer. I already know the name. I already have the phone number, right? I already knows what they charge. Call my lawyer up. Hey, I have this question. $150. That $150 for that half hour of time could save you tens of thousands of dollars and a lot of misery. Same thing with accounting, and a CPA. So yeah, outsourcing for things you don't know, especially when it comes to financial and when it comes to legal, you absolutely have to do it. And law firms have outside counsel that they use. So you could be a lawyer, you still need a lawyer, even though you are a lawyer. Okay, If you're a doctor, you still need a doctor, right? So you never want to just be your own advice giver. You run into a lot of trouble if you only listen to your own advice, right? It's never a good thing. So the other thing you touched on too, which was or at least I want to touch on technology, right? So I did a podcast a few weeks ago, and it was focused on the IoT. It was called IoT, Internet of Things. And basically it's how technology is coming into our businesses and how to utilize it best to do a lot of the things that are going to take your time and take away from some of your productivity. So to your point, outsourcing, you don't do it because you're stupid. You do it because you're going to get superior information by doing it, and it's going to improve your efficiencies at everything. Your efficiencies with accounting, your efficiencies with legal, your efficiencies with your system. So the Internet of Things, point of sale things, customer service, having a database with all your customers in it that you can reference, that you can email from, text from, all these things. And especially these days, these things are so cheap. Like you can set up all your customers on a text system to where you can just text them out, appointment reminders, confirmations. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. And then again, if you want to use it as a marketing tool, you can as well. So in addition to appointment setting and appointment confirmations, you can also use it as a marketing tool. Hey, set it up to where if you haven't seen that customer in a certain period of time, that it automatically is going to kick them a text. Hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. to make them think about you, right? So you always want to be doing that too. So all those things. Is there anything else that you would say is really, really vital, been vital to your success, or that you would be wanting to give advice to a new lasher or someone coming into the business for the first time?
Definitely. I think a lot of times, on Instagram, you're looking to get likes and comments from people that are famous, right? The best of the best in the lash industry and all the lash companies and the who's who. But I think people are missing the boat, and they're really trying to sell to other lash artists by getting likes from them versus selling to your potential client who pay your bills and you make your money from.
Right.
So, you get on Instagram and you post a picture and you're talking lash lingo, your potential client doesn't understand that. You have to get on, show the picture, and solve a problem for them, so that they understand why they need those lash extensions. And so I do think a lot of people, that's why I love and hate Instagram sometimes. It's just, you want that acceptance, and everybody's looking for that acceptance. They really are.
Right.
And you're laughing. You're laughing at my Instagram.
No,
you
I'm
love
not.
Instagram.
I do. I'm huge on Instagram. It's just, I kind of get these moments where I kind of break into like a little smile, a little smirk, because this is things that I teach constantly, right? And when I'm interviewing a business owner like yourself, and obviously you could teach me about lashes all day, but this is what I do. So when you're hitting on the things that I teach, I just can't help but like, oh man, because it's so great that you have at least the awareness of these things that because you'd be surprised how many business owners don't. They don't have the awareness of what they should be doing with social media. And I've done many, many videos. You go to my YouTube, you see tons of videos where I talk about, hey, this is what your social media should be doing. And you hit the nail right on the head. Education. You have to educate your audience.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily, entertainment's great, right? You want to entertain them too, and you want to be, you keep it light, but you have to educate. You have to bring some level of advice or education about the subject matter to your audience. If you want real engagement, and if you want to, like you say, attract your actual customer, and not just a bunch of people that are just going to maybe give you a like but have nothing to do with your business, right? You have to be aware of that, so that you're not posting things that are irrelevant to your customer base, right?
Yeah.
And people that like you for other reasons or whatever, they're going to come around anyway and like your post anyway. But so you don't have to really custom tailor your post for them, because I'll pull up companies that I coach or business owners I speak to, and I'll pull up their social media and I'll see all like just this irrelevant stuff, like your auto body shop, like you didn't need to post that you went fishing like this weekend. Like it's not, maybe in stories, and one of the things I teach in how to do your social media, especially if you're using your personal social media to do your business stuff, right? Because there is that mix between doing your personal social media thing and your business thing. So what I always say, a good rule of thumb is do your personal stuff on stories, but when you post, make it be relevant to your customer base. Okay,
right? That was going to be one of my questions to you. I feel like I've watched, like the past 48 hours, I've watched your YouTube and your IGTV, and you talk about posting quality stuff like twice a week, and not posting your personal stuff. But my question about that is, don't you think people want to know you personally, like just a little bit?
Sure.
Sure. And so you just do that in your stories.
What I mean is like really personal stuff, right? Like, so, yes, you want to put your personality in. One of the things that I've stressed, if you looked at a couple of videos I have on there, I talk about like why some of the big brands, like household name brands, like I've talked about it in many other podcasts, Home Depot, for instance, okay? Huge brand, right? And they have I think 2 million followers or something like that, 3 million followers, but they get no engagement on their posts because they're just posting about, there's this doorknob for sale, or we're running a special on doorknobs, right? There's no personality to it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like there's got to be personality, especially on social media. Social media loves personality. Like it's all personality. If you just post like, oh, here's my business hours, or we're running this special this week, and here's a menu of our services or whatever, like that's going to fall flat on social media every time, because the algorithm's not going to like it. Even if your customers liked it, the algorithm's going to hate it. So yeah, posting personality, absolutely I agree with. Posting personal stuff is what I'm saying. You want to kind of stay away from.
Okay.
Nothing that's going to be pulling in like, too much of your politics or your, stuff like that. Yeah, I know, and I'm guilty of it.
No,
I'm definitely guilty of it. But, but when you post, you want to keep it relevant to your target audience, But yeah, but posting like, for instance, you and your family hanging out in a nice picture and posting that on absolutely appropriate because it shows that you're a real person and it shows that you're relatable and you live this other side of your personal life, but nothing like ridiculously personal. So I can't think of a good example to give.
No, I understand.
But I think most people are going to realize what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, don't post your drunken night, with your girlfriends on your business Instagram.
Okay, so I want to get into that really quick.
Right.
I teach this in my Show Up Like a Boss program. These girls, they're coming out, they're like, I'm a boss. And I'm like, okay, so what makes you a boss? That you're you're going through your stories with your bag and you're drinking with your girls
Right.
and you have your Mercedes and that makes you a boss, right? No, not really. But be mindful of what you're putting on your stories. Politics, religion, your drunken nights.
Yeah.
Because your potential clients are looking at that for sure, and they want to see what you're doing. So that's too personal right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So
for
that's
sure.
the personal personality and your core values as a person, right? I'm at my mother's 80th birthday party, and we're celebrating. That's absolutely appropriate to put on your social media. Like you say, you and your girlfriend's drunk and getting jumbo jacks at after the club. You don't want to put that on your yeah, right.
Wow.
I'm having flashbacks to my party days.
Yeah,
Like
me
jumbo
too.
jacks.
Jumbo jacks, super tacos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, super tacos, the Jack in the Box. So stuff like that you want to keep off of your social media that's involved with your business. If you want to do Snapchat or whatever, you can put all that crap on Snapchat and then just don't tell your customers about your Snapchat. So that's definitely great advice. Anything else that you would say is important for new lashers?
I think one of the most important things next to customer service is continued education. As a lash artist, we're actually not required to take courses.
Wow.
We're not. You can take one course and go out and charge what I charge and, teach yourself, be a self-taught lash artist. But you have to continue to educate in order to get better. So that's why I'm at where I'm at today. And I'm able to charge almost $100 an hour for my services because I've spent thousands of dollars on my continued education.
Right.
A lot of people want the easy way. They just want to take one course. They want to pay a little bit of money, and they want all the rewards. And that's not going to happen. You have to go take multiple courses, even if it's the same, like, say, Russian volume. It's a look. You could take it once. You could take it another time and learn something totally different from that other person. So I have 12 certifications.
Right.
I think the girls in the studio together, we hold 64 certifications.
Wow.
None of those are required. But that is what separates us from the artist down the street. So you have to continue to educate in order to be the best. And especially now, when I first started, there was not a lot of competition, and now there's competition everywhere. I mean, it's like nail techs. Lash artists are being certified daily.
Sure.
So what are you going to do to stand out, next to the girl, 2 streets down from you?
Right.
You have to continue to educate. So it's continued education and it's customer experience. Those are 2 really, really important things that people need to be aware of.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. No matter how long you've been doing something, again, I've been coaching businesses for 25 years now. I'm still always looking for ways to improve my core skill set. Like, how do I get better at it? How do I get better at coaching? How do I get, what else can I bring to the table for my clientele? What other strategies? How can I teach it better? Not just what other strategies can I bring? How can I teach it better? How can I relate it? Convey the information better? And I'm always working on that. And again, it hasn't stopped in 25 years, and I have no intention to stop it. I want to be a better coach and mentor going forward, and just get better and better. And again, that personal growth too is empowering, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just that it's making you better, but it's also empowering you. And it's empowering you with the confidence, self-confidence. I found really is the biggest thing to be successful, and also the biggest thing that will keep people from being successful. Self-confidence. And if you don't have a lot of self-confidence in your core skill set, like if you're like, well, I probably should have taken that extra course, or I should have taken that extra certification, I'm a little bit out of my league, and then that confidence just drops even a little bit, it's going to affect how everything else goes.
Yeah.
And so that's very smart. Again, you have to make sure that you're always working on your core skill set, and that you're always getting better at that, and then getting better at being a business person too,
right.
and a better, at all of it. Ultimately, you never stop growing. You always want to keep learning, training, and with all the tools that are out there, again, you got Google and you have all these resources. Tell me, speaking of those resources, I know you have this online program for Show Up Like a Boss, or excuse me, Show Up Like a Boss, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tell us where can people find that course? How could they get it? What should they expect from it?
Confidence. You were just touching on confidence. In the program, I try to teach as much as I can online about how to develop the confidence, and that's knowing your product and being talented and being comfortable and understanding that you don't know everything and not being afraid to ask for help and being a little humble. Right. So I want to help people. I want to get them past. It amazes me in my courses, like when I'm teaching lashes, we always steer away from the lashes and start talking about how do you develop that confidence in talking to your clients about policies. That's another thing I didn't have when I started. I didn't have any policies in place. Nothing. Oh my gosh, I was a mess. So being confident in creating and enforcing your policies, I have that in the program.
Nice.
I talk to women that are insecure and try to help them get past that hump. And in the beginning, people are like, how do you get so comfortable relaying your policies or your feelings to your clients? I said, I recorded myself. I took my phone and I recorded myself going through all the scenarios that could possibly come about, so that when somebody asked me, I knew what I was going to say back to them. I can look them in the eye and I can be comfortable in what I'm saying. So teaching that in the program too is important. It's all around every topic you need to feel confident, be able to create your policies. I help people with actual specific policies, how to create them and how to get them across to your clients, communicating with your clients, how to make more money, how to market yourself on Instagram. I touch on that a little bit. I'm not as good as you on that stuff. And
I don't want you to take I want you to take my share, my market share. So I'm glad you're not good at everything. You gotta leave me something, right?
And it's basically helping people get over their hump. They're scared. What are they scared of? Let's attack it and get it done. So it's a ton of information in an hour and a half with courses of action and step-by-step processes. I'm like about getting in and out. Starting a lash business is difficult. Lashing is really difficult. People have no idea how hard it actually is. Right. You're working around people's eyes with adhesive and tweezers.
I couldn't do it.
And you're working around all these energies, these people that come in, and it's a lot to take. It's exhausting. So I try to get people in and out of my program and have everything that they need to know so they can move on and just start doing their things. It's a checklist, easy learning.
And it's brilliant. I mean, it's genius. And again, everybody that is hearing this, should take this course. I mean, you were telling me before we started the podcast, had you known what's in there yourself, I mean, how much faster would you have been successful? How much easier would a path would you have had you had the information that's in that hour and a half?
Honestly, I probably would have been able to accomplish what I've accomplished, maybe 2 years.
Save you 2 years. Okay, so 2 years. So it would have sped your success up, or it would have shortened the curve by 2 years, you're saying?
by more, like 5 years.
5 years,
I knew everything. I mean, honestly, I really didn't know what I was doing in the beginning.
Right.
This checklist is, if you sit down and dedicate yourself to this checklist and you take a week of just dedicated, get down to it, you're going to be pretty solid.
Yeah.
And you can't teach someone confidence, but knowledge is confidence. So learn as much as you can possibly learn as a lash artist, and if you don't know, ask. That's going to give you that confidence to just be able to talk to your clients and be a good business owner.
Bingo. That's exactly right. Again, another gem that she just spit out. Knowledge is what creates confidence. You're not going to have confidence and then go, oh, I'm going to learn it now because I'm so confident. You can't be confident about something you don't know how it works. So your confidence is built through gaining the knowledge, seeking the knowledge first, then gaining it, and then continuing to hone the skills. That's what increases your confidence and your self-esteem and your self-reliance in the fact that you know you can do it. And then again, that's so empowering. I never can overstate how empowering it is, how self-confidence literally dictates everything. I'll normally come into businesses that are struggling, and one of the first things I have to tackle is the self-confidence problem. I mean, that's it. I walk in there and I'm like, what's going on? Tell me all about it. Oh, well, I don't think we can turn it around. I don't think, there's nothing that can be done. And you're talking to someone that just feels completely defeated. And it's not that they really are defeated. It's just that their confidence is completely shot. And without that confidence, they could be great at what they do. They could have all this knowledge. I mean, they could teach people what they've done, but without the confidence, it's all for naught. So yeah, self-confidence is huge. And again, it comes back from information forward, not self-confidence first. I know that you said that in the pre-show that you're going to be doing a new course that's going to come out, a new improved course, and you're going to launch that in January. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think if it's me, if I was naming your price, I would say at least $9.99 for it. But I think she wants to get it to some more people and do something because she really wants to help. And so I think you're going to have, for a very limited time, you're going to do a special price. It's not the $9.99, but it's going to go up to the $9.99. Mm-hmm. So what's the price going to be at launch in January?
$5.99.
$5.99.
Yeah.
All right. So for limited time, you guys want to get ready for this. Do you have the date picked in January yet when you're going to launch?
I don't have it picked,
okay.
but it'll probably be the middle of January.
Middle of January. Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. So look for it. I'm sure you're going to announce it on your Instagram. She's gonna push it to $9.99, but for a limited time for the early birds, for the people that get in early and take advantage of it, she's gonna do a special for $5.99. So make sure you follow her on Instagram and look for that. Because and again, I'm a huge proponent of online education. I have 2 degrees, but could I have accomplished what I've accomplished without degrees? Of course. Having degrees has given me a foundation. I always tell people, look, you don't need college. You don't really need a formal education. You just need information, and you need to get it in places that it's is cost effective and is quick without sacrificing the quality. Now, I can tell you, college, especially these days, when I went, it was a little more reasonable. But college these days, I think it's ridiculously overpriced. It's slow. I mean, I went to school for 5 years. I mean, it was, and I was broke the whole damn time. It was mac and cheese and top ramen for the whole 5 years. So if you can do something, if you can take a course like what you're offering and you can speed up your education into a few hours and save yourself 5 years, I mean, a college degree, it's only as good as what it's going to give you as far as the ability to find information. And that's always when people ask, well, what do you get out of college? You get the ability to learn how to find information. That's what you get. The information you learn there is pretty worthless. I mean, it really is. It teaches you, okay, if you want to be good at something, here's how you go about doing it, or here's where you'd find the information. That's pretty much all it gives you. So if you do an online course like what you are bringing out, you're talking about getting more relevant information in the period of a few hours for $5.99, $9.99. I mean, it's really, when you talk about the value, it should be $99,000 because college education nowadays is a couple $100,000 for a bachelor's degree. It doesn't give you any information you can use to make a living or to improve your financial life. So online courses are the future. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they've been around for a while. They're nothing new. But I'm telling you right now, given the cost of college, given the barriers to college, given the fact that people need to make money faster now and the economy's going to be, going a little rough ride here, I think, for a while, people need to be able to get quick education, cheap education, but quality, not junk. It's got to be quality. And if you can get quality online education in a course like that will save you years off of a learning curve and speed up your money-making ability by a year, 2 years, I mean, that is worth
Priceless.
so much. It is. It really
Yeah.
is. It's hard to even put a price on that stuff because the value of it could be literally hundreds of thousands of dollars and over a course of a career, millions of dollars. And you got that education for $5.99, $9.99.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. So you're onto it. I mean, online education is going to be where it's at. I think universities are going to start suffering. I think a lot of people are going to stop going to college
Agree.
because it's too expensive and they're not coming out with any kind of real skill and they're not getting good jobs. I mean, if you go in for, something medical or engineering or something like that, it's still okay. Although I don't know how much debt I go into to try to get a $60,000 a year job.
Just do lashes.
Yeah, just do lashes. Just get a core skill and then deploy it properly. So, but yeah, that's great. It's great that you're doing that. Anything else that you wanted to cover on the podcast before we make a wrap?
I do. I think in the beauty industry right now, a lot of people are suffering after COVID. And what they're suffering with is whether or not to give a discount to, we're talking hair, nails, lashes, skin. You're really trying to keep your clientele coming to you, but a lot of people have lost their jobs and they don't have money, or their husbands have lost their jobs, so they're now the one making the money. And this luxury service is one of the first to go. And even hair, you can dye your hair at home, right? So I think what I want to know, and I think I get a lot of questions, is do I discount my services heading back into, working from COVID? And if I do, what does that look like? I'm going to tell you what I did. Okay. The lash industry is big on not giving the discounts when you head back in. They're like, don't discount your services. In fact, raise your prices.
Right.
Now, for me, I couldn't register that, okay? I couldn't register it. What I did was I didn't offer discounts to everybody. I took my client email list and offered them a beautiful discount on full sets. So every one of my clients that have been loyal, they've been coming to me, I offered that to them. And a lot of them took advantage of it because my initial appointment is almost $300. Now,
Right.
And my fills are like $90. So people can afford $90. The $300
It's
is the
original
big,
$300, right.
Yeah, it's the problem. So what is your thought about that?
Well, I do not believe in discounts. I'm with the lash industry that you need to increase prices, not decrease prices. Mm-hmm. You can't, and here's why. And it's not something that you're saying like, well, people are struggling, so I'm going to lower my prices so more people can get what I'm offering. But here becomes the problem. Here becomes the catch-22 with that. You start lowering your prices, inevitably you're going to start lowering your quality. And it's not even intentional. It's going to happen. Whether you start using a cheaper product because you got to try to save some money there, or you got to do a quicker job because, man, if I don't get at least this many more people to make up for what I'm losing in the discount, I won't be able to cover my bills and, earn a living at this. And so what ends up happening is you end up using cheaper products and you end up doing faster work. And again, it's not even intentional. It's just part of what's going to happen when you start discounting. And then the quality of what happens to the customer, the customer doesn't get the quality anymore. So the discount hurts the customer. So why I'm against discounts isn't because I'm for greedy business owners. I'm against discounts because you, the consumer, the customer, is going to get hurt by discounts. You get what you pay for, and you got to understand that. If you want quality, and I can't imagine anybody that's going to want lashes and that isn't going to want quality, okay? So if you're a lash customer watching or listening to this, understand, if you want really beautiful lashes that are nice and full, and, I'm not into lashes, so I don't know exactly what they're looking for, but, if you want these amazing lashes, you can't be looking for a discount. If I was going to do something like that for myself, I wouldn't want a discount. I would say, look, charge me a little bit more so you can take some more time and give me what I'm looking for. Because if I walk out of here paying $250, $225, and they're not that good, I'm going to be pissed. If I pay $350 and they're amazing, I'm going to love it, right? So one of the things I say, when it comes to marketing, right? Because I get, the mentality behind it. Well, geez, Cory, doesn't that help with marketing? Can I get more customers in if I give a discount? Yeah, but you're going to make less money. That's the problem. Will you get more customers? Yeah. So you just want to work harder for less money? That's what you're saying when you offer a discount. And your customers are going to get the short end of the stick too. So the better way to do it is what I call a value add, okay, which is, look, don't do a discount. If you're going to do anything, raise the price, but add something that the customer would like to it. Something that doesn't maybe cost you much money, or something that you can do really quickly, right? That you can then add a service or some kind of a product, like a cheap product. I mean, I don't know what all goes in the lashes.
Lash
if there's
shampoo, yeah.
Lash shampoo,
Mm-hmm,
right?
yeah.
So, hey, for the next 100 clients or 100 appointments, I said I'm going to do a free shampoo, a free lash shampoo with your full set. And that will get you the marketing push that you're looking for. That'll get you that extra, oh, wow, I better take advantage of that, right? You'll get that push without having to do a discount. Therefore, the customer still gets a great service. You still make good money, but they get a little something extra to show the appreciation, right? So that really, and it works way better because it doesn't discount you. The problem with discounts is that you're the person who's selling the good or service is telling the customer it wasn't worth what I used to charge. And that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
I feel really bad for everybody in the industry, though. They've lost like most of their clientele, and they're trying to get them back. So I think this is a huge problem.
Value add. They got to add some value
so
somewhere.
Add value.
Don't lower the price. Add value. There's two things they got to do. They got to add value, something they can do either quick as a service or fairly inexpensive. Versus giving $50 off or $75 off, give them a $15 product for free, $20 product for free. Right? So you get this $20 product for free. Or if it costs you $20, but normally it would retail for $49.99, well, you don't say it's $20 it costs you. You say it's the $49.99 that it retails for, right? So that becomes then the value add. So instead of discounting the $75, you're only coming out with $20.
Right.
And you look better too. And it lets people know that, hey, I value what I do here. So as far as like helping them get customers, though, that comes down to marketing. That comes down to being able to reach out to the customer base. So there's no such thing. I don't believe in market saturation. There's no such thing. And the reason is because no matter what industry it is, there's going to be the top tier, and they're just going to be the top tier, okay? And that's always going to exist. And then there's going to be tiers below that. And if you're in the top tier, meaning your skill set, so you're a great lasher, everybody knows it, you've proven it, you've got a great track record. Well, a whole bunch of other people that don't know, one, they're not good lashers. Okay, they're going to get in a downturn like this. They're going to get flushed out. They're going to have to go get other jobs, right? So you're going to cut off a lot of lashers. So when the economy goes bad, this is a whole other podcast, but I'll cover it quickly. When an economy goes bad, and you have an industry, especially one like lashing, like you say, has been feeling a little saturated lately, right? Because everybody and their mom's trying to get in on it. You are going to cut off the bottom 20%, 25%, because they were barely making it when it was good. And now that it's bad, they're not going to make it at all.
Right.
So now they're going to get cut off, right? So then you got 25% less lashers. So now, you're starting to make up for the lack of market. There's less lashers. So now the market that's there can now be shared by the top 75%. Right. Well, now in that middle, you're going to have people that are probably good lashers, but they're not good at marketing, or they're not good at some other core business thing, which is going to cost them the ability to be able to deploy their skill set. The top tier, which I know you're in, you're going to thrive. Why? Because everybody else will get flushed out. These people will be left standing. Even their good lashers, they'll be left sitting there. You're the one that knows how to market. You're the one that knows how to value add instead of discount. You're the one that knows how to reach out to your customer base, and you know how to get new customers, right? And that comes down to understanding marketing and sales to where you know how to market your product or your service, and being able to have that skill set. We talked on the pre-show too about what skill sets should a business owner have. Do they need to know everything? No, but here's the skill sets. If you're going to be a very successful business owner, and I found this out of my own journey, you better be good at three things: your core skill set. Whatever you do, you're a plumber, a roofer, okay, a lasher, business coach, okay, you better take that skill set ridiculously seriously, and you better study, get better all the time to where you're a master, where you're the master level. Second thing, which is second and third, but they're different. A lot of people confuse them. Marketing and sales, okay? You've got to be good at marketing. You've got to be good at sales, and they're similar, but they're not the same. Marketing is the act of getting leads. Marketing is getting your business idea, your good of your service in front of people. Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. Oh, I got your attention. Hey, what's up? How you doing? That's marketing. That's not selling. Selling is, now that I got your attention, hey, lashes would look amazing on you. Okay, you got this bone structure, lashes would just make it pop, right? So that's selling, right? Selling is then closing the deal. And so as business owners, if you're good at your core and you're good at marketing and selling, you'll always be unstoppable in any economy, and there is no such thing as competition. Because I can tell you the number of businesses, the number of business people that are good at both their core, master level at their core skill, and they're good at marketing and sales is like this much. There is not many.
I know.
And the ones that there are, they're the ones that make all the money.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't matter what the economy does, good, bad, doesn't matter. They're always going to make a lot of money. Because if you can market and you can sell and you're really good at what you do, you're always in the driver's seat.
We host a lot of world-renowned educators, lash educators at our studio. We have a lot of space. So we've had some of the best come in. And a lot of people always ask, are you afraid of that competition? And I'm like, no, because of that reason. You could have 100 people in the room. One might take all the knowledge they took from a conference and go for it. And that hard work, they put the hard work into it and stuff. And it happens a lot. We've had hundreds of girls come out of our studio, learning to do lashes. And then I never see them again.
Right.
So I don't worry about the competition like that. So we don't have a problem with that.
Exactly. And again, even if they were all going out and doing lashing, if you are good at the three things, really good at your core skill set and really good at marketing and sales, you will just never have any competition. It just doesn't exist because there's so few people that are going to get good at those three things. They're just not.
Right.
Again, they could be great lashers. They could be, great skill at their skill set. I come across so many businesses where I look at their business, because I go in, I look at this business and it's struggling, and the first thing I do is I look, the confidence, obviously, what's going on. You have confidence in what you're doing. Yes or no, fix the confidence problem. Second thing I look at is I look at the core skill set. What do you do? What kind of business is this? Are you good at it? And then I look at, are they good at it? If they're not, that's it. There's nothing to be done.
Yeah.
So if they're good at it, which most are, and the good news is most are really, really good at what they do. You look at they're good at their service, and you're like, that's pretty good. It's high quality. But they're bad at marketing and sales. That's really where most everybody gets lost. You've got people that never get good at their core skill, and you got people that do, but they hardly ever get good at marketing and sales. So to all the business owners out there, and I'm so happy to hear that you're on that journey to get your marketing, your sales better, to add that to being an amazing lasher, that makes you unstoppable. It makes you unstoppable. So, get her course when it comes out in January, everybody. Again, we could go on for hours, and you're one of my guests I'm going to have back because we got a lot more to talk about.
Thanks, we do. I have questions I didn't even cover.
Yeah, we could go on for hours, right? But I try to keep these things under an hour, and we're already over the time. So we'll have her back, so don't worry. We'll get to her questions, and we'll do a follow-up with how things are going, too, with the course as it comes up, and also with the value add marketing instead of the discounts. No discounts, value add. Value add.
Got it.
Right. Also, one more thing, and then we'll go. Packages. Sell packages. That's another thing I always teach people that do services. Sell packages. If you can sell a package deal, then you can maybe do a little discount because you're getting the package, and you get guaranteed. And so there is the one time when a discount or a big value add or a bigger value add is really, really good, especially if you're trying to launch or trying to relaunch packages.
Yeah.
Packages. You'll get a shitload of cash flow now to cure. So if there's been a downtime like this, so business owners, people that have had a little struggle during this downtime, do package deals. It'll get you a ton of cash right now to fill that hole. and guarantee you work going forward. Don't do too big of discounts. Maybe do a little discount with a big value add. Okay, maybe do some services, but no discounts. Those things will really, really help to really relaunch the business.
Yeah.
So.
Great.
All right, been awesome having you, Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
Been my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on this one. If you've enjoyed this information, please like, subscribe, go to the links I'm going to put on the YouTube channel for her Instagram. Follow her, support her in her journey, because she's supporting a lot of other people too. Love to see it. See you guys on the next one.